There's a clear favorite for tonight's game, though, and you're looking at it. It's the Cardinals.
I'm on board with that. I forgot to wear my Cardinals shirt, though. Oh, well. Hey, welcome in. We're not going to talk baseball, I promise. We're going to talk football. This is the DJ Preps football preview show. Dylan and Brad here with you, coming to you every week to preview some of the big games coming up this weekend in the Daily Journal coverage area. Do want to say thank you once again to our sponsor, Pizza Doctor. We got the 5 cheese again because every week I have to get the 5 cheese.
It's delicious.
It's might be the best pizza they have, and that's saying something. We got an Alfredo chicken over there as well. So yeah, you can find Pizza Doctor at Midtown Point in Tupelo, aka the Old Mall for you old hands out there. Good stuff. Okay, so today's show we'll have 3 games to watch. We're going to do predictions, of course. We'll have the Double Trouble Award, Best 1-2 Punch from last weekend. It started out by reviewing last week's picks. Bad news, I went 1-2. Good news, Dylan also went 1-2.
That's 2 weeks in a row for me, going 1-2.
So I still maintain a 2-game lead over Dylan. And we're about, I guess at the halfway point of the season, pretty much. So 3 big games to watch this weekend. Let's go with game 1, Biggersville at Smithville. Big Division 1-1A showdown. Biggersville is 3-2 overall, 1-1 in division. Smithville 5-1, 2-0 after a great start at the Seminoles. 3 keys to the game. Let's go with key number 1, the Christian brothers. No, not the school up in Memphis. That's Dylan and Ryan Christian for Smithville. Dylan is a running back and defensive back. Ryan is a linebacker, and both have been leading the way for Smithville. I think he did something on them last week.
Yeah, in our prep notebook, talked to Coach Collins there, and he was just singing their praises like they've just led this turnaround. If you remember, I guess Smithville was like 2-10 or something last year,
yeah,
or 2-8, I guess, something like that. And now they're sitting here 5-1. Their only loss is that forfeit loss to COVID or whatever. So
right.
So yeah, the Christian brothers are certainly a huge part of this Smithville team. So
yeah, COVID remains undefeated. Key number 2, Zay Davis and his speed. The Biggersville athlete can do everything. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He's got, I think, a kickoff return for a touchdown.
And a punt return,
touchdown.
Yeah.
He's got 8 total touchdowns, and he can just do everything for Biggersville. And you got to ask, can Smithville keep up with him?
Well, truthfully, nobody can when he gets out in the open field. He's that fast and just that athletic. I saw him in person last week against TCPS, and TCPS has some good athletes on their side, and he had a 76-yard touchdown catch, and then I think he rushed for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, even TCPS had a lot of trouble containing him when he gets loose. It's tough to handle. So you got to kind of make sure you're disciplined on defense, kind of keep him inside the tackle box there, and get him down the first try because he's dangerous.
Yes, he is. And then key number 3, always the most important, of course. And by the way, this is October, of course, which means it's Halloween month, aka spooky season, one of my favorite holidays. So the key number 3, every week this month, is going to be Halloween related in some way.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, you like that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So key number 3, which town more likely has a haunted water tower, Biggersville or Smithville? Go to Biggersville, you got that big water tower right by the school, right off 45. I'm not sure. I can remember where Smithville's water tower is located.
Yeah.
But, they're not off a 4-lane highway. They're a little more isolated.
Yeah.
Could be a little spookier out there.
Yeah, but I kind of add Ryanzy into when you talk about Biggersville, I just throw Ryanzy in there too.
Oh, okay.
And there's some creepy parts of Ryanzy out there. So
really?
So yeah, I don't know. It's probably a pretty close tie.
I've never heard of a haunted water tower. It just seems like it would be a cool thing, though.
Yeah, things like dead bodies or something in there,
well,
contaminating the water supply or something. I don't know.
That'd be terrible. Okay, moving on. Game number 2, we got Ripley at New Albany. A couple of Division 2-4A teams going at it. Ripley is 5-1 after a great start under Perry Lyles, who just got his 200th win last weekend. Dylan had a story on that in today's journal. And New Albany is 4-2, 0-1, coming off a tough 1-point loss to Pontotoc last week. So this is an interesting matchup to me. Key number 1, ball security. Ripley's defense. Perry Lyles is known for having good defenses. I remember one year at Calhoun City, that defense forced like 50-something turnovers in a season. And Ripley is doing pretty well. They've forced 21 turnovers already. And, he's really done. This is just his second year, and he's got that defense at least turned around.
Yeah, I think I looked it up the other day when I was working on the story, and that Ripley defense has given up 13.5 points a game. and that's with a major outlier with that 39-point outing against Senatobia and their only loss. So really, you look at it in the other 5 games that they played, teams are basically scoring 1 time, and that's it. I think they're outscoring opponents 40-6 in the fourth quarter too. So they're really good in the second half. They make it halftime adjustments. That's part of a key of they've got a good coaching staff with Chad White there as defense coordinator. Been a long time with Perry Lyles on that defense, so they're tough. But that defense is going to get tested, and that leads us into key number 2.
Which I totally did not let you do key number 2. I just realized on the last one. So go ahead.
It's fine, but yeah, key number 2 is the run game because Ripley, that defense, as good as they are at getting takeaways, they are going to be tested in the run game. With this New Albany team, they were tested last year, obviously with C.J. Hill and A.I. Nugent. Nugent has gone to graduation. New Albany lost C.J. Hill earlier this year to season-ending injury, but they have no slack of talent there in that running back room. Cody Atkinson, Cameron Knox, Keelan Simpson, a sophomore there, has had a couple big weeks the last couple weeks. So they average 286 yards a game on the ground. Ripley does a good job on their own though, offensively on the ground. You're right. Yeah, their entire offense is based off that with that wing T veer option offense that they run. So the ground game is going to be important for both teams, but for Ripley's defense, trying to slow down the trio of backs there that New Albany has is going to be certainly very difficult.
Key number 3. Again, it's a Halloween theme. Which town would be a better setting for a horror movie, Ripley or New Albany?
This was the easiest one we've ever done for Key 3 throughout the whole year for me. As soon as I read it, I knew the answer, and it's Ripley. Not even close.
Really?
It's not even
Ripley's
close.
Monday first trade days,
Well,
right?
first Monday's kind of freaky when it's empty for sure, right? All right, you got just horror on both sides. You can either go to Gravestown and be scared or Dumas and be scared, right? On either side, right? All right, then you got to think, if you've ever been to Ripley, and I know there's people listening to this that's been to Ripley, not even just on a first Monday weekend, but on Highway 15 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's the perfect time just to have a horror movie just break out because it's called Traffic on Highway 15. You can't get through the town. I don't know if Tate Reeves has ever been to Ripley during rush hour there, but if he was, he would know that it needs to be 4-lane very quickly because there's no way to get to New Albany or Walnut or anywhere else. But it's just the traffic itself is its own horror movie, and that's my rant for the day. So.
And this is off camera, so it's bad. But Brad, we have never had this show be more of a focal point in the office than Dylan's roast of Ripley right there. I mean,
Taylor Vance loved that.
Well, it's more of just the traffic issue that we just can't figure it out there. So they've been trying to 4-lane 15 in Tippah County. It's 4-lane everywhere else except Tippah County. So
Well, okay.
You got an opinion on which one?
You make a great argument.
There you go. That's what I was hoping. Somebody sent it to Jack.
Take on. We forgot to. I'm way off my game, guys. I forgot to do a prediction for Biggersville. We'll do all the predictions at once.
Yeah,
in a minute.
we'll do that. Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I'm just.
I've got you. It's me. It's me today.
No.
I came with it.
Okay. Game number 3, Starkville at Tupelo. This should be a good one. Starkville is still unbeaten at 6-0, 2-0 in the division. Tupelo 5-1, 1-1, coming off its first loss of the season last week against Oxford. So this is a big 2-6A game. A very stacked division. Keys to the game. Key number 1 for Tupelo, just tackle better. I mean, they just awful last week. And Coach Ty Harden will tell you that, too. There was one touchdown run that Oxford had. The kid literally broke 6 tackles. And they did not get guys to the ground all game long. I had not seen that this year. I don't remember seeing them tackle that poorly last year. So I think that's an exception, an anomaly, if you will. I think Tupelo will do a better job of that this week, but they're certainly going to be challenged by a Starkville offense that's doing really well with that dual threat quarterback Trey Petty and Tyler Nichols at running back. But and that takes us into key number 2.
Yeah, and you mentioned Trey Petty there. This sophomore quarterback has just been unbelievable. Starkville's a huge portion of their team, the core of their team is sophomores. You talk about Brethren Burnside and Trey Petty. Those two linked up for a touchdown in the final minute last week to knock off Clinton 28-21. Starkville absolutely trusts this kid to go out there and make plays. And if you look at it, when you talked about tackling, he's very mobile, gets in and out of the pocket. His name has kind of just been buzzing around the state as far as what he's been able to accomplish with the Starkville team. They're always good. We didn't know what to expect because they were going to be so young this year, but here 6-0, 2-0 in that really tough division with wins over Madison Central and Clinton. Starkville's just got to keep trusting Trey Petty because it's obviously working.
Key number 3, again, it's a Halloween thing. How much more terrifying would Zay Alexander be dressed as a clown? Of course, he's the Tupelo left tackle. He's 6'7", 350. He's already terrifying enough just standing there near him. You could just probably pick me up with one hand. And, a lot of people don't like clowns. So if he got into if he dressed up like Pennywise or Twisty or somebody like that, I'm not that fast, but I'd be trying to outrun him. I'm just saying. He should dress up like that for Halloween.
Yeah.
Just wander downtown aimlessly.
Go stand at one of the 54 ways in Ripley on Highway 15. Scare the snot out of everybody.
Okay, so now we'll do the predictions that we forgot to do a while ago. So let's go back to Biggersville and Smithville. This game is at Smithville. Biggersville lost last week, to TCPS. Smithville is on a roll. Obviously, haven't lost a game on the field, but I just like the talent that Biggersville has on both sides of the ball, and I'm going to pick them to win this one 26-16.
Yeah, it's certainly. I saw Biggersville last week in person, and it's tough because I saw how badly they got whooped up front by TCPS. But I feel like that TCPS front's going to whoop a lot of teams just from the sheer size advantage that they've got. So I still believe in Biggersville's athletes. So I got Biggersville in a close one, though, 28-21.
Oh. And now Ripley at New Albany, going back and forth a little bit on this one. New Albany, I mean, they can, Ripley can play some defense, but New Albany can play some too. Ripley's offense, they're really heavy on the run. They did get Ty Long back at quarterback, so that's huge for them. New Albany won this game 42-0 last year, but this Ripley team, to me, has made leaps and bounds in improvement. And I don't know if you call this an upset, but I'm going to take Ripley 20-17.
Ooh, man. I didn't
expect that.
Yeah, I didn't actually. Just because I think you look at it on paper, New Albany's probably favored in this game just because they still have guys like Cameron Knox and Joe Mathis, a quarterback, guys that are experienced, got a big, experienced offensive line, where Ripley is just freshmen and sophomores nearly all throughout the bulk of their team outside of their running back room.
Right.
And, so I think you would, even Parallels thinks that New Albany would probably be favored on paper in this game. And so I'm just going to stick with that just because I think experience matters in games like this. But in the next 2 years, I think this Ripley team could be just terror to deal with. But I've got New Albany 33-24.
Okay. Don't make me look bad, Ripley. Then the Starkville at Tupelo, again, a game I'm going back and forth on. Tupelo, I mentioned, had just a really bad outing last week against Oxford. I think that'll probably be the worst game they play this year. It is to this point. I think they'll be better this week. It's at home. I do love Starkville, and even if a lot of those guys are young, I don't know how much that will matter. It might, but Tupelo has a veteran defense that I think will clean those things up, and I think they're supposed to get one or two guys back this week on defense that have been injured. So I am going to take Tupelo in a nail biter, 17-16.
This was probably the toughest one to pick out of them, just because you look at what Starkville's been able to accomplish so far this season. And then I agree with you. I think Tupelo probably played its worst game last week, and I don't think they'll play that bad again. But at the end of the day, Starkville the past 2 weeks has beaten two really good teams in Madison Central and Clinton that are pretty equal to Tupelo's talent level and success. So I just think they just keep this thing rolling. So I've got Starkville coming in as the road team coming in to Tupelo, knocking off Tupelo 24-18 in a close one.
You might catch up to me this week.
Yeah, that would be, that's how I have to have it. So.
Okay, let's close it out with the Double Trouble Award. Best 1-2 punch from last week goes to Jamarcus Shines and Keytravius Shannon of Shannon High School. They beat Moorville 50-20 and they both had outstanding offensive performances. Shines is the quarterback. He was 11 of 25 for 191 yards and a touchdown, and he had 11 carries for 140 yards and another touchdown. And Keytravius Shannon, who plays pretty much everywhere on offense, he had 6 catches for 152 yards and a touchdown, and he had 5 carries for 25 yards and another touchdown. So big win there for Shannon over Moorville, and that's all the time we have for this episode of the DJ Preps Football Preview Show. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsor, Pizza Doctor. Find them at Midtown Point in Tupelo. Delicious, excellent pizza. Be sure to check out our podcast, Prep Rally, and you can find that every Wednesday in iTunes, any of your podcast apps, or online at preprally.djournal.com. Follow us on Twitter at djournalpreps, and we'll see you all next week.